listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicky, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, hi buddies. Thank you
Hello.
all. Thanks for joining us. We have a jam-packed show right now. My name is Jackie Padgette Baird.
And I'm Dr. Vicky Arcady.
And we're going to interview Savannah Lee Padgette today. But we wanted to let you know, for all you newbies, who we are. We are co-creators of Flush Your Fat for Good, to be lean and healthy for life. It's not just about losing fat, it's about losing fat forever and never having to struggle again. For everybody that has gone on to these diets and these meal replacement plans and I got to lose my weight because a wedding's coming up or the holidays are coming up. I want to look good for the holidays, or I'm just going to let it go, but I'm just going to eat myself into oblivion and then start January 1st. Who hasn't done that?
Guilty.
Yeah. But that's not good. That's not healthy. And you can eat yourself into being lean and healthy if you know the right way to do it. And what Flush Your Fat for Good is about, it's a lifestyle for a lifetime. We call it health by design, not by default. The most important thing to know about what we call FYF for Good is all about is that it's teaching you how to feed yourself based on biochemistry and physiology. So you'll never crave sugars and starches again. You will sleep deeply. You will think smarter. You will have safe, rapid fat loss. It's all based on digestion, absorption, and elimination. And that's what this show is today about. We're going to talk about digestion, absorption, and elimination. And it's for everyone. Kids, I can't tell you how many moms we've dealt with that their children have to have enemas because of the foods that they're being fed, and they have stomach aches, they can't go to school, they can't stay in school, or in order for their children to eliminate properly, they have to have assistance. Okay, that is a horrible way to start out with teaching your children about how to eat properly and take care of your intestinal tract, because 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. How important is that? If your bowels are not moving properly, if you're not digesting, if you're not absorbing, and if you're tired all the time. There's one of the worst things that can happen is when people are gaining fat, gaining weight, and they don't know what's happening to them, and they keep getting bloated and gassy and all kinds of things, and they think that Mylanta or Pepsid or Rolaids, right? I hate that commercial. The guy's in the truck, and he says, I can keep going on and on and on now because I got Rolaids. It's like, roll in there, buddy. So today we're not only going to talk about from children to 90, 100-year-olds need to pay attention to how they digest, absorb, and eliminate. And then we're going to apply that to actually interviewing and talking to Savannah, who's 21 weeks?
22 weeks.
22 weeks pregnant. And how important is digestion to you?
It's my top priority now.
Amen.
So at this point of the show, this is, the researcher, Dr. Vicky. I always say if you want to know about something and you ask her, expect hear from her in about 6 weeks, because she doesn't leave any stone unturned. Hey, it's been 3 weeks. What do you think? I don't know. Call me back. So when she finally gets the information of what she's researching, it's thorough. And so it's very valuable. It's sort of like, for all those that remember when E.F. Hutton speaks. Yeah, when Dr. Vicky speaks, it's like when E.F. Hutton speaks. So today, the segment of Did You Know That is going to be about what?
Digestion, absorption, and elimination.
Excellent.
Unless you have a gastroenterologist that you're seeing, I don't believe that anybody discusses digestion, absorption, and elimination. Perhaps the more natural practitioners would think of that, because food is the most important part of our health. And if you had watched our previous podcasts, we covered some areas of that, especially last week. We talked about food combining, which helps digestion, absorption, and elimination. And I can tell you, I was a clinical reviewer for a long time, well, not a long time, but temporarily for about 6 months for insurance companies. And one of the medications, it was medical reviewing, but one of the medications that I would say 100% of the people were on, these were people that were workman's comp type people, you know, that were injured on the job and stuff like that, and they were chronic. I would say 100% of the people had to have, you know, like Pepsid or
Digestive aids.
Digestive aids to stop the acid reflux, to stop the, you know, stop that burning. And that is not how you do, that's not how it's done, because it's not getting to the cause. And, you know, I just want to go over, I could do a gastroenterology course or whatever, but we're not going to do that. I just want to go over some things so you can understand how important and what happens when you digest your food. First of all, digestion will begin in the mouth. And with Flesh or Fat for Good, we emphasize digestion, absorption, and elimination, because if you concentrate on what you're eating and you learn about what you should eat, you know, the veterinarians know about this. You eat the animals eat the right foods and they thrive. If they don't, it doesn't work.
Right.
The veterinarians know. Animals have to have the right foods. And if they don't, they get skin conditions, they get sick, and they don't thrive. Well, digestion for humans begins in the mouth. And we're going to have some graphics put up just so you can take a look and see. There's one of the head, which is cut sagittally, which is cut this way. And you'll see the salivary glands. Those are the glands. They look like fat, globs of fat, but they're really called salivary glands. And those are the glands that put out the enzymes starting in the mouth to digest starch and starchy carbohydrates and stuff like that. And it begins there. And that's why it's important to masticate, which is chewing. And Jackie's mother made all of her brothers and sisters chew 33 times.
I don't know why. I mean,
because,
I don't know that 33 could have been 34.
Well, by the time you hit probably 25, it goes to liquid, so you can't chew anymore. And you go,
Right.
oh, I never made it.
Right.
My mother used to tell us chew fish 100 times because of the bones in the fish. And by the time you get, you know, not even halfway there, it's liquid, and you're like, but Mom, I can't chew anymore. Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah, but so many people don't chew.
They don't know to chew. And, you know, I just saw a newscaster the other day. He goes around to restaurants and samples the food, and he took literally one bite and swallowed of like a Mexican burrito, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't do that. You have to chew your food thoroughly, and it's called mastication. And in our book that's coming out January, I think, beginning of the year, we talk about all this in there in depth. But okay, so you start digestion of your starches, and let's pick a food. In our Facebook room, I had a rampage one day, and I decided to explain to all the buddies in the room and newbies what happens when you eat junk food, like when you eat, say, a bacon cheese hamburger, and onion rings and fries and all that stuff.
And a shake.
Yeah, junk food.
Right.
My advice to my patients was never eat junk food, not even once. Not even once. It's so bad for you. Not to mention there's sugar in there. So let's pick a food that everybody thinks is okay to eat once in a while, or more than once in a while, especially when the kids get good grades, or you know, there's a celebration, or it's movie night. Let's get a pizza. So let's say we have a pepperoni sausage topped
Jalapeno cream cheese.
Oh, real good. Pizza with with the cheeses on it. Some have a lot of cheese. Some
They have cheese in the crust now.
they do. They have cheese in the crust. So what do we have in there? We have what? Starch,
Right.
protein,
Yeah.
dairy,
Yeah.
which if you know about us, Flesh or Fat for Good. We don't recommend cow dairy.
At all.
Right. So you're going to have starch, protein, and fat. Lots of fat from the cheese.
Mhm.
Lots of fat. Okay, so you're chewing in your mouth, and the salivary glands are going. Okay, so you swallow. It hits your stomach.
Kaboom.
Okay, so now the brain recognizes there's protein in there. Okay, protein, and it recognizes fat. So the brain starts pushing out hydrochloric acid and pepsin to make all the enzymes to digest the protein. However, there's starch in there too. So the brain is sending the pancreas a message to send enzymes to digest the starch. And now you're getting both of these together, which, if you learned last week, it neutralizes. So now nothing's going on. Meanwhile, you have that sticky, gooey, stringy, thick, fatty cheese, right? That you have to deal with. That has to be digested. You can't swallow that, gooey melted cheese. It won't digest in the small intestine. Something has to be done with it. So what happens is the liver starts to make bile, and it makes more and more bile, which is stored in the gallbladder. The gallbladder starts contracting. The gallbladder's job is to contract to push the bile out through it to help digest the fats that are coming through. Okay, so this is thick, stringy, and the gallbladder is contracting. The bile itself has crystals in it. There are very small crystals in the bile itself, in the chemistry of the bile. So what happens is, as it contracts, it's rolling over and over and over. And you do that long enough and enough days and enough years, you're going to get gallstones.
Yep.
Big ones.
Yeah.
I believe, I've done gallbladder flushes, and I believe everyone has little tiny gallstones. It's only natural that you might have some little tiny itsy bitsy ones, like a grape seed size. But when the gallbladder has to keep contracting, you have that slime coming through, that gooey, sticky, stringy cheese, and your gallbladder is desperately trying to contract, and now you're starting to feel sick. Mm-hmm. Now you're starting to feel look. And meanwhile, nothing is moving in your stomach. It's just staying there. And we learned last week that, and the week before, that if it doesn't digest or you miscombine, which pizza is a combining the protein with the starch and the dairy with the starch,
right.
It can sit in your stomach for 8 hours. And we learned from Dr. Pavlov, who worked with the dogs, he timed it as 13 hours in some dogs to get that out of the stomach into the intestines.
Outside of the sugar in the tomatoes.
And now you have sugar too.
Right.
So now you're stimulating the opiate receptors in your brain, and you're slowing down digestion with that. Did you know that cow cheese and sugar stimulate the opiate receptors just like heroin does? That's big. So that you wonder why kids get addicted to pizza. I want pizza. Well, they want that cheese. So you've got a mess going on here, and you have one slice is bad enough. It's staying there. You have 2 or 3 slices, you're in trouble. You're going to have burping, heartburn, probably constipation or diarrhea. The body could just say, "Get me out of here." And one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to you. I just want to paint this picture for you, but in my practice, there's a viscerosomatic, which is the spine, reflex from the gallbladder when this happens, when you eat tons of grease, that gives you a stiff neck.
Oh my God.
So when people would come in my office, "I don't know what happened, I can't move my neck," I'd say, "Did you eat something greasy?" And they would go, "Yes, I went to the Dodger game. I had a Dodger dog. I had onion rings. Oh my God, yes." And I says, "That's what it is." So it takes, the cran flush, perfect. Lemon in hot water is good, and then you have to wait 5 days, 3 to 5 days. And oh man, if you're pregnant and you do that, if you're nursing and you do that, the baby's going to be not happy for 3 to 5 days.
I remember we went a long time ago to an ice cream store, and the guy was his first day on the job, And he was excited because he was trained to work at the 31 flavors, whatever. And so he's serving, we're watching him, and he's got the cone here, and he's like this.
Ice cream.
Yeah, and you were
Stiff neck.
you were right there, and you're looking, and he goes, and you said, did you eat a bunch of this ice cream before you got started or something like that? And he goes, yes, I ate so much ice cream. Oh my God.
They make you taste it all.
Yeah,
I worked in an ice cream place.
So, and his neck was so stiff, and he was so.
And people look at me like I have 3 heads, but as soon as I get them in the, and I try to help their muscle spasm, they realize, oh my gosh, this is not easily fixed. You can't, it's locked up. You can't do it. And then I send them home with homework, and I have them support their neck when they sleep so they can sleep. And within 3 to 5 days, they're coming in almost every day. I get a little bit of relief for them, but it's the gallbladder. You have to cleanse the gallbladder.
It's as they say, you are what you eat, and it's really you are what she ate, because when you're pregnant, whatever you eat goes to the baby. But Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine be your food.
Yep.
Hippocrates didn't say, go order a pizza at Pizza Hut or go get some McDonald's. We call this health by design, not by default. Default is the shortcuts, the real quick stuff. Give me a TV tray dinner, or have food, pre-packaged foods being sent to you so that you can lose the weight. And this is not the way to go about it, because if you treat your body properly, you're not only going to feel better, be stronger, and not have these issues, but especially the most important thing is you're going to sleep better, think sharper, and have better moods. Now, when you're pregnant,
Let me just say before we go into her story.
Yeah.
If you want to have like a healthy pizza, let's give them a way to have a healthy pizza.
Okay, let's do
I
a
mean,
healthy
I
pizza.
ate Italian my whole life, even though I'm
Even though-
Sardinian. But anyway, we never had pizza like it is in America. It was leftover bread dough that was flattened out, put in the oven, and then we just grated cheese on there. So you could have to combine it, you could have a cauliflower pizza,
Right.
which
Yeah,
you guys
we
had
like
the other
those.
night.
Yeah, she
Those
makes
are
them
good.
really good.
And you can have that, and you can have the protein on top. You can have sausage or whatever, healthy sausage, and then just grate the cheese on there. Don't put goat cheese. You can put pecorino, the sheep cheese, and don't make it sticky, gooey. Don't put a cup on there. Put just scatter it for the flavor, and put lots of vegetables, and you can have a delicious pizza.
Right.
And no sugar in there, nothing. It's just going to be fully combined.
There's no need to eat bad food to have a good time.
That's right.
Okay. And actually the reason why we wanted Savannah to be here is because your digestion, absorption, and elimination is very compromised when you're pregnant. Most people that we work with, especially our new buddies in Flush Your Fat for Good, they're so excited because after the first week, they not only have stopped their cravings and they have more energy and are sleeping great, but the first thing we hear from them is like, oh my God, I've only had 1 bowel movement a day my whole life, if that. Now I'm having 2 to 3. Did you know 3 to 4 is best?
Are you talking poop right now?
I'm talking poop, baby. Because it's the pipes of life, You're 70% to 80% of your immune system. Come on.
Yeah, and if any of you were in the Facebook room, I posted
Oh,
I posted a 30-pound colon. The guy didn't poop for 22 years,
Oh, come on.
and the surgeon had to remove it. The guy was on the doctor's show, and he posted that on Facebook, and
Well, I'd say
it gets stuck in there, and it gets hard, and the
Right.
water goes around it, and it stays in your gut. I mean, you got to get that poop out.
I have said this for a long time, and I don't know, was it you, Kathleen? I can't remember. Somebody It was somebody, Jennifer, Coach Jennifer, somebody said, you can't really say that because you don't. Yes, I do. There are many, many people that have had up to 5 to 10 years of fecal matter still inside of them, hardened on the sides of the walls, and then the rest goes through. I'm telling you, it's people on Flush Your Fat for Good are almost more elated about having, 2 to 3 bowel movements a day than the fat that they're losing rapidly.
They're like dogs, they go in the bathroom, come out, and they scratch their back legs on the carpet.
I haven't seen anybody do that. But the reason why we want to talk to Savannah is because she's pregnant. Stand up real quick.
Show that bump.
So you know we're not lying.
Yeah.
Show this beautiful baby bump. And it's a girl.
It's a girl.
Okay, sit down and tell them the name of your baby.
She is going to be named Genevieve.
Genevieve, after Saint Genevieve, for all you people that follow the saints. She saved a village, right?
Yeah,
With her prayers.
she saved, I want to say Paris from Attila the Hun with prayer, supposedly.
Good. So she'll help with our family.
You could have named her Joan. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we have enough martyrs in the family.
Yeah.
Okay. But Savannah, you've eaten a lot of junk food.
I love junk food.
Truth be told, pregnant women love junk food.
But, I mean, when a parent says, hey, you got to eat right, eat your fruit in the morning, come on, Did you ever listen to me that much?
No, I mean, I've always been skinny. So my idea of health is like, are you fat or are you skinny? And I know you've always been very healthy, but I'm like, if I'm not fat, I don't really care.
Right.
So it didn't really matter to me what you
Right.
said.
That's called young and dumb. So, but when you get pregnant, your body seems to change. And what was the first thing that you noticed?
I mean, not the constipation, if that's what you're
No, whatever.
like.
happens
Nausea. The nausea was the first thing I noticed. Basically, extremely tired, and couldn't sleep at all. And then later on came the constipation and bloating and just a bunch of issues.
Miserable.
Misery.
And basically, now was the time, because usually my kids learn through pain. So
Definitely.
when she was that miserable, I said, and Dr. Vicky is her Aunt Yaya, so we said, it's time to learn how to food combine. And because she's pregnant, we made her do phase 2. Flush Your Fat for Good has phase 1, to get off safe, rapid fat loss and to get your bowels moving and to get everything in alignment. When you get all the weight off that you like and you really are happy with the size of your clothes and how you look in your clothes and all this stuff, then you make the choice. You go to phase 2. And phase 2 is your lifestyle for the lifetime. Even though many people choose to toggle back and forth on phase 2, phase 1, because they either like the way they feel on phase 1, or they had gone to on a vacation or a wedding, or they slacked off a little bit and went back a little bit, and they realized, I don't feel good, I want to start back on track. Then they go back to phase 1. And after a while, they never veer off, because you feel so good, you feel so strong. And when you don't have the pain, when you're not miserable, and you don't have these things that you thought you had to learn to live with, then you realize, no, I'm not going to do those things that make me feel painful. So, but with Savannah, all this stuff was hitting her all at once, thinking, well, I don't really care about eating healthy because I'm not fat. But now I think it's more serious to figure out how I don't have to feel so miserable with the changes of my body. And when the baby is growing, pushes the intestines.
Yeah.
All right?
It pushes your intestines and it pushes your bladder.
Right. As we know, all through the night. But when we said it's time for you to food combine in phase 2, And we need to get your digestion, absorption, and elimination at peak performance, not only for the health of you, but the health of the baby. So you've been food combining, you've been doing phase 2 for a while, right?
Like 2.5 weeks, I think.
And the reason why we wanted Savannah to come in, because in 2.5 weeks, what has happened?
I don't know. Everything is completely different. My cellulite is gone. It's, well, not completely, but when I got pregnant, I couldn't physically make it to the gym as much. And I go to the gym a lot, like every day. So my cellulite, and I guess your hormones or something, Dr. Vicky was saying you get softer when you're pregnant. So I accumulated so much cellulite. And I focus on it. And just the other day, I put on these leggings that I refused to wear maybe 2.5 weeks ago. And I could walk out of the house and be like, wow, this is crazy. I haven't even been to the gym the past week, you know? So that was one thing I noticed. What do we call it? Eliminating?
You can call it whatever you like.
It was so extremely horrible before I started doing this. And I would go and I would eat like prunes. We got Dulcolax or something.
Yeah, Dulcolax.
It was
Colace.
bad.
I was literally crying. You know, I couldn't sleep. I would go from side to side, and it's just like now it's a beautiful thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. You know, I don't feel any of the I don't feel any of the problems that I guess normal pregnant people feel, except for the bladder problems. What else? My energy is up. I have really, really good energy despite, you know, normal tiredness, I guess. I'm like, I can go to the gym every day, but I'll want chicken wings after. And I could eat tons of sugar, but I don't know. I don't care about it. I'm like...
That's a first.
Yeah. Yeah, because I never gained weight from junk food, so I was like, I can eat it. Yeah. But I don't think about it anymore.
Isn't that weird?
It's like, who
weird.
am I right now? You know? Yeah. So
that's if you're pregnant or not pregnant.
Oh my God!
We don't want you to have sugar, but the fact that Savannah, everything was about sugar, candy.
Yes. Oh, I would put so Flush Your Fat suggests eating goat yogurt, and the only way I used to be able to eat it was putting tons of sugar in it. And
oh my gosh!
But
now I just put some cacao powder and cinnamon in it. It tastes the same for some reason.
Because she's done without sugar for 2 weeks, and we made it through Halloween.
Oh God! Yeah.
Did you eat any?
No,
candy?
but your brain tells you like I should be eating it, you know, because that's I think when I started, like maybe a week after,
Yes.
and in my mind I'm like I want to get the Reese's so bad so I can just eat them, but I don't know, the night was over and I wasn't like traumatized because I didn't eat candy. You know,
it's weird, huh?
Yeah.
We have people that are, I mean, that is on our conference calls constantly, that they're like, just like with Savannah, they're like, well, you know, I went into the bakery and I could care less if I bought the donuts or not. What is that?
You know, we should say what, you know, phase 1 is for those that don't know. Phase 1 is no starch, no sugar, no cow dairy at all. No starch, no crackers, no bread, no rice, no potatoes. And you go into nutritional ketosis. If we don't recommend that for pregnant women, phase 1, unless you're under the direction and the guidance of your obstetrician, gynecologist or midwife. Phase 2, you add the starches. We add healthy grains, sprouted grains, healthy starches, potatoes, and we teach you how to food combine so you have maximum digestion, absorption, elimination, and with that you get maximum energy, and you're not spending all your energy digesting. And for pregnant women build a big, fat, healthy placenta by eating the starches. carbohydrates. So that's why it works. And you had all 3 of your kids eating phase 2, and it works great.
But the point is when you're pregnant, you're so compromised. But when people are obese or have a lot of fat to lose, they're compromised too.
Yes.
And this puts them right on track. Just like with Savannah, it put her right on track to where she's in control, feeling good. You notice how the first thing she was excited about was her cellulite?
Yes, that's the most important.
Right. So, outside of the fact she can
It
poop
was
now.
shocking. That's what I have to say, because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my body. So being pregnant, I was like, oh my God, my life is over. But I've I've been going to the gym for so long, and I've never lost cellulite so quickly.
Right.
And I haven't even done anything.
Well, we have reasons for that. We want you guys to buy our book, and you'll know why. Really quick.
We don't want to give it all away.
No, we have time. If a few minutes, if you guys want to call in, the number is 818-570-5085. I'll repeat that. 818-570-5085. If you guys want to call in, we have a few minutes. We're going to be taking some calls if you have a question for Savannah or for Dr. Vicki or myself. We really are happy that you're joining us today. We do these podcasts every week. And
we have a call.
we love LA Talk Radio so that we have the ability to do this for you guys.
Okay, you ready?
Okay, yeah, let's see who it is.
Hello there. Welcome to the call.
Hi, it's Kathleen calling in.
Hello, Kathleen.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, I love this topic about digestion, absorption, and elimination, especially the elimination part. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about, I think one of the biggest aha moments for me on the digestion was you talked about the importance of chewing your food and getting it to that liquid state. I always used the fact that I was eating so fast and not chewing that, okay, well, my body's working harder on digesting. That's okay. I'm going to burn more calories. And learning and working.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Okay, I think I think we lost her. But Kathleen,
Are you there?
You can call back
Let me
in.
see. Hold on. Let me see.
While you get her back on the line. Chewing is extremely important. And we have several people, we've had a couple of patients as well, that their biggest problem in their life that are plaguing them in their 60s, well, 60s and 70s, were due to the fact that they didn't chew their food. So when you chew your food, you're preparing your food for your stomach to release the heat, acid, and enzymes. Then when the food is completely digested, then it goes into the small intestine. It gets ready for absorption. So, this is a miracle machine that God has made for us. And I would wager to believe that the majority of people, that once you swallow your food, you don't know where it goes after that. And with Flush Your Fat for Good, when we say this is a lifestyle for a lifetime, we're saying that this is what you do for the rest of your life. This isn't something that you dabble in. This isn't something that you do for 30, 60, 90 days. This isn't something that you, think it'll be fine for maybe till I get the fat off, and then after that I'll just go back to the way I was living and eating. And because a lot of these people that are doing these gimmicks, these prepackaged foods, these certain foods or concepts of diets, don't forget the first 3 letters in the word diet is die. And trust me, it is not healthy at all. A lifestyle needs to be for a lifetime, till the day you take your last breath.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like the difference between FYF for good and diets is that when you're dieting, you're miserable. And when you're doing Flush Your Fat for Good, you don't notice all of the junk food you're missing out on, basically. And you want to do it because you feel great, not just because you're eating this like fake sugar, or you're eating this salad instead of this, like not because you're making healthier choices and you're just like, this is disgusting. When you're doing the Flush Your Fat for Good, you're like, this is like, I feel really, really good and healthy and strong doing this.
Yeah, and you don't overeat, you don't undereat, but you can eat as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I remember Kathleen, by the way, is a co-author. Kathleen, call back. I can't figure out how to call her. But anyway, I remember when she was traveling, and she said that when she eats the food that is recommended and in proper combination, food combining, she says she can actually feel that it's, helping her body. It's weird. You feel like it's helping you. You feel like you're feeding your cells. You feel like you're feeding your tissues. And I want to just say something about her comment. You're burning more calories if you just don't chew your food. Well, you're burning your energy. You're burning yourself out. It's not, you may be burning calories, I doubt it, but what you're burning is your energy, because your intestines and everything. I'm sure you guys saw the graphic of all the organs. All those organs are getting a beating when you do that,
Right.
because the stomach has to do the work if you don't do it in the mouth.
Well, and in Flush Your Fat for Good, we have a book that we've written and we wrote with Kathleen, but also we teach about a lot of things that you guys will learn that'll become your survival information. Mm-hmm. The harder to chew, the more you lose. The softer the chew, the less you lose. So therefore, you're going to eat fresh and healthy, good foods. However, you got to chew them a lot. So that's addressing Kathleen's dial-in, because chewing is smart, and that's right from the mouth.
And let's give the phone number again in case somebody else wants to call in. It's 818-570-5085.
Right. Now, what I want to do is put up a picture of the website, and this is what it looks like when you go to flushyourfat4good.com. And we have 3 levels there. Dabble in that, go all over the place. Down below on the site, we have what's called the Hub of Knowledge, because we have regular articles of things that are fascinating, and knowledge is power. And the more you know, if you have the desire to learn, if you have the desire to be healthy, lean and healthy, it starts with desire, real desire. Desire leads to knowledge. Knowledge leads to understanding. And understanding leads to happiness, because then you make the right choices. When you get to the website, you're going to see our starter kits in the storefront. It's an easy way to get started, and you'll see we have in starter kit number 1, we have our workbook on how you learn how to do this lifestyle for a lifetime. And we also have some really cool charts that you can learn from and put into your kitchen, and also, stick up on the walls, different places. We have things like that. We also have what's really cool in starter kit number 1. It's a grocery. What do you call this?
Grocery list.
Yeah, grocery list.
Flush Your Fat for Good grocery list.
I love this thing.
And there's little boxes, and you check off what you need. And the stores. It has the stores.
It's like, okay, I need the eggs, the turkey, okay, this cayenne pepper, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and then you take it to the store with you. In the starter kit, number 1, we have GLA and CLA. These are the essential fatty acids. And yes, fat can help you lose fat, okay? Mm-hmm. And we explain why. And it's in the workbook, and it explains to you why we want you to be on GLA, gamma-linolenic acid, and CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. And these are amazing essential fatty acids. On Wednesday,
tomorrow night,
today's Tuesday, we have conference calls. We have a support call, and this is run by Coach Jennifer. She's amazing, and she tells her story. And in our book that's being published, that'll be out on the shelves in January, you'll learn all about Coach Jennifer. She's got quite a story. But she hosts the call, and we're on the call as well with her, called the Power 100 Heroes Call. if you have 100 plus pounds to lose, now it's about inches, not pounds. But some people that we have are similar to my 600-pound life. We have 550, 430. You know, we have a lot of people that are so large that they have not measured themselves at all. It's almost impossible. So we say if you have 100 plus pounds to lose, then at this point we want you to be on the call, because there's a whole different set of issues dealing with having to lose 100 plus pounds. And the support that you get, the information that you get, the guidance that you get to help you stick with it, stay with it, and get to where you want to be. Some of our people have been with us for 4 years because they're well over the 500 mark, and they're doing amazing. The immune system prioritizes itself. So while the body is losing fat, the immune system is completely changing. The cholesterol, the blood sugars, the blood pressures, and everything are improving to the point where the doctors are amazed. So that's our Power 100 call. The next thing I want to share with you guys is, actually I can put that number really quick for you guys if you want to call in tomorrow at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time on the Power 100 Heroes call. It's area code 641-715-0866, and the code is 611566 pound. And the last thing I want to share with you is Dr. Vicki and I have created a coaching course. It's 7 modules of information that you cannot just go and find anywhere. It's chocked full of pearls of wisdom, lots of information. It's 7 modules, and at the end of every module there's an exam, so that when you finally pass all the exams, you are certified with the knowledge that you have with our lifestyle, our program, everything from what we talked about today regarding my favorite subject, which is elimination. And, well, you know, my dad, your Grandpa Bob, we were little children at the breakfast table, and he would say to us, okay, now make sure you chew your food, girls. You have to masticate your food. And we're just eating and looking up like, okay, whatever. And he goes, because what goes in does come out. And it's like, Dad, it's eggs and sausage. You know, come on. And he says, no, I want you girls, when you eliminate, I want you to look at it and then come back and report. Now, my dad was the first bioanalyst and pathologist in the state of California. He discovered the use of African frogs for pregnancy tests, and he built the first mobile lab to do any lab work to homebound patients except x-ray. So he was quite unique in really knowing about the body, biochemistry, and physiology. And in the morning, he'd tell us to get up and have a hot cup of water and squeeze lemon in it and pinch of salt, right? Right. And he goes, we're going to clean out our livers.
I love that.
It's good. That's because I taught you to do that. And, you know, we're 3 years old. We don't know what a liver is. We call it liver. What's the liver? But he was an influence on all of us kids on how to be healthy. And that led over into my curiosity of how to stay healthy throughout my life.
You know, what do you have if you don't have your health? I mean, to me, the world stops turning. Everything stops if you don't have your health. So what we're trying to do is bring awareness to how to eat, what to eat, when to eat, and you know, be knowledgeable about it so you can have control, and you're not helpless, and you're not questioning what you should be eating. You know what you should be eating, and if you crave something, you'll know how to eat it and when to eat it. Right. And this will reduce globesity, which is the pandemic in the world of obesity. And you know, the United States is the number one country in the world for obesity. That's terrible.
You know, we weren't.
It's just terrible.
We weren't.
And you were on your way, Missy, until you went on phase 2. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Mexico was number 1.
Mexico is number 1.
Now, their leading cause of death in Mexico is type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
And we are number 2 with type 2 diabetes. That's
It's
totally unacceptable.
And in our experience, we just learned, and I learned in my practice, that people don't know anything about food. People are only taught what was given to them from their ancestors about foods and what to eat and what was eaten in the family, whether it was good or bad. Tuna casseroles, or we have this certain dish on this certain night and this certain birthday, and we have pizza. Now it's frightening to me because the kids are eating junk food for special occasions. That's what they want.
Right. Now, if you notice, we always have these Voss bottles, and we drink 3 of these a day, 81 ounces a day of diluted cranberry juice. It's mostly water with not from concentrate, unsweetened cranberry juice. And Dr. Vicki, was that the last? No, when did you do the cranberry?
Cran flush? I did that like
a couple podcasts
2 or 3 ago.
ago.
3 ago.
When you get on our website,
Cranberry is where it's at.
Yeah, we have a library of our podcasts. Also, you can go to LA Talk Radio and look for Flush Your Fat for Good, and you can go through the whole thing. You'll see us. Dr. Vicki's doing a whole thing on cranberry. I mean, there was even more to talk about, but we didn't have 3 hours.
Cranberry is so beneficial for anyone, even kids.
You like this?
I love it. I put lemon, and I actually put salt in it now. Just because it keeps me hydrated. Well, I put the pink Himalayan salt in it, but I used to put like aloe vera juice in it. I would do that because that also helps and keeps you hydrated, but it's addicting and you don't want anything else.
Jackie does the ginger.
Like else.
Tell them about the ginger.
Yeah, no, I have a Breville juicer. If you have a juicer with 1,000 RPMs, that's the one you want, but I think you can do it on some others. If you chop up the ginger roots real good. And I juice big ginger roots, and then I'll just put like a tablespoon, and it's
organic ginger.
Of course. Yeah. But it's amazing. The ginger is anti-inflammatory, makes you salivate more, and really that's very important for all kinds of things going on with your health.
We call that the ginger cran flush.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really good.
So it's, but a lot of people say, I can't drink 3 of those, and before you know it, they're drinking 4.
You don't even notice it.
Yeah.
They go fast.
It's funny because once you get started on Flush Your Fat for Good and you really are successful on it, you don't want to look back. So we want to thank you all for joining us. We're excited that you joined us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And we want to thank Savannah for being our guest tonight.
Thank you,
Thanks for having
Savannah.
me.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Flush Your Fat for Good with Jackie and Dr. Vicki, only on LA Talk Radio.